gonna record that
All
puppy
right. Well, hey,
to the cloud.
yeah, I'll welcome everybody. I see it's recording now. Hey, everybody, welcome to our Saturday growth track training. Today we have a special treat, words of wisdom from the ninja himself, 30-year industry veteran and legend, Chuck Hansen. Chuck, take it away.
Real good, thanks, Mitch, and enjoy the Phoenix weather, all the sights and everything out in Scottsdale and whatnot. I mean, I love that part of the country. Lived there for years and years and years. So hey, welcome everybody. We're going to get right on with things. For those of you that don't know me, there's a little bit about myself. Now you know your luck has just run out, right? So now you know who I am. But you know what my mission today is to give you some information that you usually don't hear, right? I mean, my goal in doing these trainings is to really to give you things like this, right? I mean, everybody likes to see a groundhog. I ask people all the time, are you planning to live until next year? Most people say yes. You know, that's my plan. I really do want to live another 12 months. You know, well, in the United States, you know, in this country, we have something known as the Groundhog Day. And it's, you know, it's the weirdest thing ever. They don't have it in other parts of the world. So I wanted to show you this. But, you know, every year we wait for this groundhog to pop out of the ground and it sees its shadow or it doesn't see its shadow, and, you know, weather is predicted. So they say. You know, I say, hey, you know, Groundhog Day comes around every year. You know, is it going to be more excuses, right? Or are you going to do something different? And, you know, success and excuses, you can't have both, right? You either have to pick one or the other. So I'm going to tell you a lot of things today about network marketing. And we're going to go down a list of things that I wanted to share with you, what it is and what it isn't, right? It's not about selling products. Let me just be perfectly clear with that. It's not about selling products. When I first got into the industry, nobody told me that. And that's the first thing I thought it was all about. I thought it was all about slapping those water filters on somebody's counter and making 50 bucks. It's not about that. I tried that. I failed miserably. I mean, yes, I sold water filters and they're great product and all of that. And we got great products. And yes, you can sell some, but it's not about selling it on Amazon. It's not about selling it on eBay. I see people doing that all the time and they're wasting their time. They will never get to the lifestyle that they want to get to trying to sell products on Amazon or eBay or Walmart or wherever in the world, you know, some online system. So next one, it's about building a team. You see, it took me failing for almost a year before I went to somebody much my junior. See, I didn't get into network marketing. I didn't even find network marketing until I was 40 years old. I wish that I would have found it when I was 20. I wish somebody would have drugged me over and said, hey, you got to look at this. This is really the way to go, because I'd have been 20 years ahead, right? But you know, I went to this person who was making about $300,000 a month. And I said, you know what? I'm a whole lot smarter than you are. I'm better looking than you are. And there's got to be something wrong. There's got to be something wrong that I'm doing. And we analyzed what it is I was doing, which was selling product. And he says, hey, you got to stop that. He said, it's all about building a team. I said, oh boy, I think I've heard that before, right? And you know, the fundamentals of this business have not changed ever. They're always, and they've always been the same. It's about sharing the products with people, right? It's about sharing the opportunity with people, and it's about building for events that are taking place. This is an event this morning. This is an event, right? On Monday at 8 p.m. East Coast time, we'll have another event. I'll be doing a presentation, and then we have a Tuesday event and a Wednesday event. And these are all very unique events that will never, ever happen again, exactly like they happened before. Just impossible. So, you know, I want to tell you a story about two men. Now, you know the guy on the left, John Harenza. John, great guy. If you watched his little 7-minute video showing himself in the trailer park and the trailer that he used to live in, you know, he was a welder at a potato chip factory, right? He had a learning disability. And John said, you know what? He got drug off to a meeting just like I did, right? A year after I did, you know, in the same company. And somebody showed him the business, and he says, hey, if I could just make an extra $3,000 a month, you know, on top of what I'm making welding in this potato chip factory, maintaining this equipment, I could have a better life, right? I could have a better life. And so that's how he started his career 30 plus years ago. Now, you know, that network marketing decision that he made has now turned into $500,000 a month in income. Now that's $500,000 a month residual passive income that comes in every month, whether or not John works. Listen to me, whether or not John works, because he has tens of thousands of people that he's leveraged within Valentis, right? That he earns a little small percentage off of everything that they do. So congratulations, John. My hat's off to you. I can't wait until I'm there. Let me tell you about another buddy of mine. And now that's not him. Okay, I took a stock picture because I didn't want to put his picture up here. But he's a captain for United Airlines. You know, and depending upon equipment and what he flies wide body jets. He's pretty experienced. Annual is somewhere between 200,000 and 300,000, not a month, guys, not a month, a year, right? Now, I asked him the other day, I said, so what's your plan B? You know, when you either get too old and you have a mandatory retirement age of 65, or you fail your physical, you're done, right? When you get too old or you fail your physical, you're done flying. What are you going to do? He said, well, I'm going to retire, right? Well, retirement looks like this, right? Yes, you can live on 40% of what you were making if you can live on that. So, you know, he's trying to downsize. I said, hey, there's no need to downsize. Now is the time to build and work on your plan B. Over the course of the next 3 to 5 years, we could build you a massive income. You travel all over the globe, and all we've got to do is find entrepreneurs, you know, and actually 1, 2, 3 people a month, you know, that you happen to run into, turn them over to me, and I'll do all the heavy lifting for you. So that's the process that we're working on right now. You know, people don't plan to fail, they just fail to plan, right? Real plans are very few and almost non-existent. And so this is the kind of thing that I talk to people about all the time. And it's about doing something different that'll have an amazing impact on your life. So, you know, over the course of the last 18 months, I looked at our compensation plan. I've looked at it a million different ways. I've written compensation plans. I've analyzed compensation plans. They are the most complex, the most difficult to understand. Most of them, you've got to be a math wizard or have a PhD in math to actually understand how they actually work. And most people won't do that, right? I've found that a lot of people quit this business because they just don't understand how they get paid. So I sat down and I started to massage this presentation and the explanation of the compensation plan so that you would have a very, very simple way of explaining it to people. And that's what I want, was simplicity. And that simplicity creates multiplication, right? Duplication, multiplication. And so I ask people, can you enroll one person a month? You just came in with a business builder pack because that was the wisest decision, right? It maxed out the compensation plan. Can you enroll one person a month? Do you think you can do that? Can you see yourself doing it? And the answer that I get all the time is absolutely, positively, I can do that. I want you guys to get real good, and I'm going to put this in a format, and I'll get it to you here shortly, so that you can start to explain it to people and show them exactly what will happen to them if they, A, come in with a business builder pack, if they, B, try 3 products every month, and if they will see one and enroll one person every month for the next 12 months. And everybody goes, hey, I can enroll 5 people today. No. I just want you to enroll one. We'll talk about multiples, as we move down the pike a little bit. But I want you to get good at recognizing this, explaining it, because what'll happen? See, we don't set up the right expectations. The expectations that so many people that come into this industry is that they're going to get rich instantly. And when they don't, they blame it on you, right? When they don't, they blame it on you. They blame it on the company. They blame it on the products. They blame it on somebody other than them, right? So this, it sets up those expectations. Hey, for the first 5 months, if you just spent $600 to get in, you made $100 when you enrolled your very first person. Now you're only $500 in the hole, right? The next month you're going to buy your auto ship of $160, and now you're $560 in the hole. The next month you're making a little bit more money. You're back to $600 in the hole, and then you start working yourself out of the hole. And when people see that logically, it's something that makes sense to them. And then they go, in my 9th month, I could make $5,000 and I would have made total $8,640. I'm in. I can do this. And that's where you want to take a person. I've seen a jillion different explanations of the compensation plan, and they're all confusing. Especially for a new person that doesn't understand the terminology. But this is so simple to walk a person through. And then by the time they get to, this is what I did with my United Airlines captain. I said, Captain, here, I can show you how we're going to get to $40,000 a month, right? In the next 12 months. And that's why I ask people all the time, are you planning on living for the next 12 months? If you are, let's set up your plan B. Now, it might take longer than 12 months. It's okay. People do a little bit less, whatever, at least we've got a track to run on, right? And we've got a plan in place. Here you are on your 12th month. All you've done is enroll 12 people, and you've helped each one of them do exactly the same thing, one by one, right? That month you made $39,340. You've made a total of 78 grand. $78,000 over the course of the last 12 months. Not bad, right? Not bad for a part-time gig. The next month, if everything were to happen just exactly like we've laid it out, you made $78,000. You've now made $156,000. So you can get to a 6-figure income very, very quickly. You see, I sometimes, and I found myself, this is one of my faults, right? Is that I want everybody to win. In fact, I want you to win probably sometimes more than you want to win, because I know it's possible. If you can do it, if John can do it, if Rick can do it, and I could name thousands of other people that have done it, if they can do it, you can do it. I know you can do it. My job is to find out why, right? Why it is somebody's not winning, and usually it's because of a couple of things. Lack of belief, I take that not enough time right out of the equation. Don't understand the industry, right? And the solution is very simple. The solution is a standardization. I found something, and it kind of struck me the other day, but if we fail to set the proper expectations, then the whole thing is out of play, is out of whack. The plan, if you work a person through that, will do that. It'll set the expectations. The other thing is getting a person out of their comfort zone. I don't care how many phrases we use. I don't care how many times we tell a person that life begins at the end of your comfort zone, or how many things we utilize. That is a challenge. And that person, that brand new person, can't be asked to do things that take them completely out of their comfort zone, because you know what? They don't want to be embarrassed. They don't want to be criticized. They don't want to be ridiculed. They don't want to have any possibility of any of those things happening to them. So we have to be aware, right? We have to be aware that if we're asking them to do things like that, then there's a good chance that, number one, they won't do them. Because you know what, here it is. And Sean was on not too long ago, and he talked about this. People care about what other people think about them. And most people have an unfavorable opinion of network marketing. And that in and of itself is a huge problem. So, I don't disguise it, but I don't, I don't throw it right into somebody's face, and I'll explain that later. The action that is requested of that brand new person's got to fit, right? You can't take an introvert and make them an extrovert just because they joined you in Valentis. Try that and they're going to be gone, right? The requested action must be very clear, not take up too much time, or any time for that matter, nor any effort, and it can't produce any negative blowback on that new rep, because if it does, they're gone, right? And I try to insulate that new person about the possibilities of people saying things, right? I want them to go, oh, I remember Chuck saying something about that. Okay, well, it's happened to me, right? Because it will happen to them. It's happened to me. It's probably happened to you. So, and it usually, those influences usually come from the people that love us the most, that care about us the most. And you know what? They don't mean any harm. They just don't know any different, right? They are trying to insulate us. They're trying to protect us from the big bad wolf, the person that's out there trying to get your money, right? So, so you just got to be careful. And I haven't finished these slides, but I wanted you to, Mitch kind of sprung this training on me today, but I wanted to get this message out to everybody. Let's talk about, you finding the right people. The person that you've been working on, that we've been working on, just said yes. That now that new person is now under your influence, or they're under your wing, right? They're not under your control. You're not their boss. So let's get that perfectly clear. You're not the boss. This is a volunteer army, right? You've got to make sure that you do things correctly. Otherwise, they're going to be gone no matter how excited they are about the new business. So you've got to become the teacher, right? And what we do in this industry is we teach people to teach people to teach people to teach. And we've got to keep it consistent. And that goes back to that standardization. People are very fragile when they first get in the business. I talk about it all the time, that tender loving care, right? Now, as they gain confidence, they get some success, they're going to develop a rhino skin like I've got, like Mitch has got, and like so many other people have got. I mean, I'm totally bulletproof. I mean, it doesn't matter who I talk to. They can't say anything negative about this industry or Valentis that is going to even faze me in the least, right? I don't care what they say. Bring it on, just bring it on. No matter what a new person says, however, they are afraid, and mostly afraid of what people will think. So don't miss that. The next steps are very, very critical. It's taken me 30 years in this industry to think about, how to slow down. That's what my job was when I became a consultant, was how do you slow down attrition? You can't stop attrition. Attrition happens as a result of a number of things. And I'm going to point out a couple of things that we can do that other industries have done that will slow down our attrition. We're still going to have it. Don't understand why, but we're still going to have it. I've done everything, including promotions. But the answer to all of my questions was right in front of me all the time. Standardization, right? One way of doing everything, not the idea of the month club that so many leaders, companies offer, because they're still experimenting, right? It's an experiment. So there's really, like I said here, there's no substitute for experience, and I'm trying to take my experience out to everybody. Does everybody know what that is? Now, if you don't know what that is, let me give you a hint. 2 all beef patty, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun, right? Guess what? They make it the same way. Standardization. See, the franchise industry got this figured out way before the network marketing industry did, and they came along actually after network marketing. So they learned from the mistakes of network marketing. And I hope that there won't ever be a network marketing franchise, because that would kill that would kill the business. Because you know what? They make everything exactly the same, no matter if it's in New York, it's in Kansas City, it's in San Francisco, it's in Hawaii, it's in Singapore, it's in Beijing. It's exactly the same. The Big Mac is exactly the same thing with the same sauce. And, our sauce, our secret sauce, is everybody on the same page, teaching the same thing. Now, of course, you're going to have personalities. Of course, you're going to have differences, in some cultures. I understand all of that, but as far as the messaging goes and the visualization, and I'm going to talk about what we are, in my humble opinion, a mistake that the company, Valentis, has now made twice, that I want to make sure you guys don't make a third time. Everybody on the same page, everybody teaching the same thing, everyone, teaching something that that new prospect can believe that they can do. That's the first hurdle. We've got to believe. Look at the success rate of franchises, right? Real quick. If you were to start a similar business, you got a 1 out of 10 shot, right? You start a franchise, same business, 9 out of 10 shot. Much better. Because of what? Because of the standardization of the information, of the product, of all of those things. See, like I said before, everyone that joins a network marketing company thinks that they're going to get wealthy instantly, right? But they don't have a clue, let alone a plan, and they don't know what to do. They have no idea what a plan actually looks like if it came up and bit them in the behind. So they fail. I mean, it's just that easy. Every leader in every company has their own way of doing things, their own plan, and and it changes from from leader to leader to leader, in Canada or wherever, in the same company. Most people are lacking a solid plan that'll actually work, right? That new rep tries this, then tries that. It doesn't produce results. They try something else until the frustration builds. Then they quit and they blame their failure on you and the company they joined. That usually, again, if the expectations are not put out, the parameters, that usually happens in about 90 days. You see, we are an instant gratification society. We want our stuff now, right? I mean, we want success now, and it just doesn't happen like that. So you've got to set up those expectations. The plan, you guys saw it before. This is a step-by-step that Mitch was kind enough to put together for me because I could never in the hell figure it out. But, it walks a person through this visualization, right? People are visual. They don't, no matter how much we tell them, no matter how many phone calls we make, no matter, they're visual, right? They will absorb more of the information as you walk them through it. And that's why I'm going to put that plan on a piece of paper, in a brochure. So, and it's just that old, again, that penny doubling concept that Mitch and so many other people have talked about. It's a little bit now and a whole lot later, a whole lot more later as you start to build. You're not looking for anyone that'll just sign up and spend $600. Let me be clear about that. And let me say that again, right? You're not looking for anyone that can fog a mirror and has a credit card. So that's an old phrase that we used to use all the time because those are the people we were looking for. We didn't care. We just wanted to, if they were able to fog a mirror and they had a credit card that would hold X amount, then that was a good prospect, right? Be selective. You see, if that person who may be interested is qualified, then it's going to take a lot of stress out of your life. You're looking for those unique individuals that want to become one of the top 1 to 2% of the earners in the world, and that's what I ask people all the time. If I could show you a way that you could get into that top tier 1 to 2% of the earners in the world, would you be interested in learning a little bit more about what we're doing? Because we've got people making that kind of income right now. Yeah, I'd be stupid not to say no. No. I want to stay broke. I want to stay working my job and, just go on about your business. Lots of people could wish that they could be in that group, but few believe it. That's the big part. And part of that belief will be in that plan that you show them. But you've got to interview that person. First you, then your upline, then me, whoever, right? We've got to find out if that person is actually qualified. You need to ask the tough questions and to find the right people. Finding the right people is 99% of the work, right? It'll take the stress out of building your team since everyone will be on the same page doing the same thing. So, pay attention to this. This is good stuff. So, we talk about belief, we talk about effort, we talk about desire, we talk about action, we talk about commitment, we talk about discipline, we talk about consistency. All of those things are very, very relative to everything that we're doing. And you're going to gain a lot of that. I mean, a tremendous amount of that when you attend the summit. So pull out all the stops to get there, bus, train, or automobile, and get there and just hang around. Had it not been for me going to one of these events, you see, the night that they did their opportunity meeting, they asked everybody in the audience who had made money in that company to stand up, and everybody stood up, and all of us guests were sitting down looking at all the people standing up. And, the first thing that flashes through your mind is, well, these people don't look that smart. And they go, well, and then they said, they did kind of a countdown, right? The countdown was, they finally got up to, well, if you've made 30,000 a month, 50,000 a month, come and line up. And the line was, almost out the door, from the stage out the door. And everybody's looking at that line, again, that visualization, right? And that makes an impression on a brand new guest that's looking at the business for the first time. And they're looking, and then all of a sudden people are coming across the stage, and guess what? They knew how to do a testimonials. Hi, my name is Bob. I was a carpenter. I joined this company and blah, blah, blah. And so far I've made this much money. See you later. I mean, it was 30 seconds. Boom, boom. It was, and that line just disappeared, right? People were, getting across the stage, hey, congratulations, and people clapping, and the excitement and all of those things. And that set the stage. That set the stage for everything that was going to be talked about that evening. And that's why I made the decision that I did. I mean, I coughed up 35 grand, right? I bought a bunch of water filters, and couldn't have them delivered to my house, had to have them delivered to my buddy's house. But I bought a S-load of water filters, right? And, my goal was to get rid of those puppies as quickly as I could, so I could get my money back in the bank before my wife found out about it. So, here's the secret to a six-figure income. I talk about it all the time. Never quit. Stay focused. This is a 3 to 5 year plan. So, I told you that I was going to share a little secret with you. I discovered that, Valentis has gone through a secular growth, right? They do well, then something happens to the product that they bonded everybody to, and the growth slows down. Then they come up and find another product, and the growth goes up again. Then something miraculously happens to that product, and the volume starts deteriorating again. Guess what? We can't bond people to products. Let me say that again. We can't bond people to products. Yes, we can bond them to the company. We can bond them to Dave. We can bond them to John. We can bond them to us. We bond them to the team, right? Because products are going to come and go. The product that was great today might not necessarily be great next year. In the case of the Slim Roast Optimum, I mean, just call a spade a spade. And as a result of us, including me, and I know better, right? Bonding it, here's one thing that I do know, that if you bond them to the team, you bond them to the company. I know that Dave Jordan pays commissions every Friday, and has done that every Friday since he's been in business. So the money is there. There's no shortage of money. The money is paid out. So bond people to the money. Bond people to the money, because that's what they want anyway. If you just be honest about it, yes, they want to lose some weight. Yes, they want to have some more energy. And yes, they want to do this. And yes, our products will do all of those wonderful things. But it really is the money that they want to make their life better, right? So bond them. Never quit. Stay focused. We've got to go and rebuild. We're in the rebuilding process, but don't make the same mistake the third time, right? Bond them to a 12-month, to a plan, right? Here's our plan for the next 12 months. We're going to recruit one person a month. We're going to interview that person. We're going to make sure that that person qualifies to be on your team, to be on our team working with us, because if they qualify and they see the value in what you've just, given them, then they're going to do this. There's not going to be any question about, oh, I got to go on auto ship. I got to buy 3 products every month. Oh, that's expensive. Well, no, yeah, it's expensive, but it only comes out of your pocket for a very short period of time, and then it's paid for by commissions. So it's, it's just part of the commitment that we're going to go through. This is the commitment. We're going to spend $600. We're going to spend $160 the second month, and we're going to try 3 products. And again, I'm asking people. I've changed my whole philosophy about everything, and that is that I want people. I don't necessarily want people to buy 350 sticks, because I don't really see this plan. If you do it right, isn't about us sending out a whole bunch of samples. It's not really about whether or not they lose weight. It's really not about any of those things, if you really want to boil it down, because it's about getting to an income. It's about getting to 40,000 a month in the next 12, 8. I mean, what if that was doubled? What if you could get there at 40,000 a month and it took you 2 years to get there? You'd be a hero. You'd be a hero. I've helped 25 people become millionaires. Guess what? I'm still best friends with those 25 people. I've helped tens of thousands of people earn an incredible income, whether they're in Slovenia, Bosnia, in Germany, in Croatia, in Singapore, wherever they happen to be. I mean, we still communicate and we're still friends. Hey, that was then, and now I found something, even more amazing than, the first time we did this. And that's my story, right? So, it's a simple plan. You got to do this. You got to buy a business builder pack. I'm not going to play that video. That's an old, actually, I stopped, I should have stopped it right when I was right here, because that's the things that are, is that the right schedule? Yeah, that's the right schedule. So again, let's, what time are we? We're 11:38. Okay. I put together a whole brand new presentation, and I've limited it. I've expanded it in some parts, and I've taken it and shortened it up in some parts, because I'm trying to get the messaging right? I'm trying to get the messaging right, and I'm trying to get the messaging right. So I really want to go after the millennials. I want to go after the Gen X. I want to go after the baby boomers. I want everybody to understand that this is all encompassing, right? I want them to know that, hey, no money, no problem, right? We've got a solution, but I want everybody included. And I want to give them, this visualization. That's you. You're 20 years old. You're just starting out on the journey of life. Some of you are 30 years old. That's you down there by that tree. That 40-year-old guy, he's over here. That 50-year-old person's over here on this hill. Some of these 60 and 70-year-old guys are over here, over the hill, over the hill. And they might not have another run left in them. But, it all starts this way. I talk about trading time for money. I talk about not taking advice from people, other people, and then I'll talk about that very quickly. Look at your 5 best friends. Take the average income of your 5 best friends, and then you know why you're in the predicament that you're in, right? Because birds of a feather flock together, right? That saying just didn't happen. That saying was conceived because that's what happens, right? Birds of a feather flock together. Now, if your friends are all broke, they're all suffering, they're all unhappy, you need to dump those friends and go get a new batch of friends. Trust me, there's a lot of people out there that are looking for friends. So just look at how Facebook was built. I talk about the best decade ever, right? I reflect on the past 3, 5, 10 years. I ask people what their plan is. There's the plan. You're starting out at age 20. There's your end. You hit under $50,000 a year. That's where the vast majority of the people fall into, right? They fall into. It's not their fault. Life got in the way. Stuff happened. We all had dreams. We all had aspirations. We all had, visions of grandeur that we were going to go. And then we fell in love. We got married. We all of a sudden had a kid or 2 or 3. And then you're going, oh man, now I got all these bills and how am I ever, and just stuff happens. And that's why you get stuck into that spot. And there's a reason that less than 10% only, make 100 grand. And there's a reason that less than 2% make $200,000 a year. It has a lot to do with, them getting off of that trapeze. Marshall Silver said it best is that, if you're on that trapeze and you're holding on to that bar, you got to let go, right? You got to burn your bridges. I've heard Les Brown say it a million times. You got to, that's it. I'm done. I'm done with that way of life. I'm going to move on to something else. So you've got to move on to something else. You can't keep one foot on first base and try to get the second. Won't work. A good friend of mine wrote a book called You Can't Steal Second with Your Foot on First, right? So Burke Hedges, great book. Anyway, I'm going to tell people the shocking reality, right, of, average worker will hold 10 jobs. Average person will hold 10 to 15 jobs over their lifetime. They spend 4.2 years, probably less time than in a network marketing company. They spend a lot of time. 25% of their life is spent working a job. That sucks, right? There's a better way to do this. More people are more likely to have a heart attack on Monday, and you've heard this from Les Brown before. In the Middle East, it's on Friday, and in Japan, it's on the weekend. Why is that? Because it's all depending upon and relates to the work week and the related stressors. Increased stress hormones triggered by going back to work. People hate going to work, so heart attacks mostly in the morning, mostly on Monday, right? At least here in the States, from 9 a.m. to 11 o'clock. People are stressed out and they go, I'd rather die than to go to work. So, the other thing that I talk about is, where the reality finally sets in. Oh my gosh, this is as good as it's going to get, right? This and that human misery, they say, peaks at age 47.2. That is a shocking reality. We've got to help people through that transition because, that age for me was the best years of my life. Best years of my life, because I found a plan B. And when I found the plan B, I let go of plan A completely. That's what shocked my wife. I let go of it completely. I said, honey, guess what? I'm going to sell the business that we've worked 16 years blood, sweat, and tears to create. And she goes, what? You're going to do what? Why don't you just do this in addition? I said, no. I need to get rid of that. I need to exit that from my life, and I need to do something different so I can focus on doing this. And, luckily, but here's what happens in life. You walk in one day and they go, hey, guess what? You're fired. Or guess what? Those tests that we didn't turn out too well, and we need to have another talk. And those things happen all the time. You've got to have a plan B, and the best time, and we're in an up economy, right? Everything is going great. This is the best time in the world. Don't procrastinate it. Don't say, oh, come back when times are bad, right? No. This is the time you put your plan B in place because, again, life is secular, right? You're going through an up time right now, but trust me, there will be a downtime. I mean, I've seen it over and over and over. I've seen 20% interest rates on houses. Right now they're 3.5. So I've seen everything over the course of my lifetime. And so, plan for the future. We've got all kinds of things that we plan for that we hope will never happen, right? We've got car insurance. We hope nobody has a car wreck, but in case we do, we've got car insurance. Here in North Carolina, I just paid a huge bill on a few houses for hurricane insurance. Well, I hope never, to use it, but I've got to have it, right? Just in case. And and I'm going to give credit to Mitch the first time, and then I'll steal it from that point on. He came up with income insurance. That's what this is. Your plan B is income insurance. Should you walk into the office one day and they go, hey, you're out of here. We don't need you anymore. I can hire 2 more people to do your job way less than what I'm paying you right now. So you're out of here. And, hopefully you never get that call from the doctor. So, again, I talk to people that this is a business that you can start for less than the cost of a smartphone. Everybody can relate to that. They go, what? I can create a business for less than the cost. See, we've got to get them over that hump, right? We've got to get them over that hump. And, will you work the plan? We talk about, if you decide, right? We talk about how your journey is, where you are on that journey. And, what is it you want? And what I did here, and of course, you guys, I'm happy to make this PowerPoint available to anybody, and you can use any of it, all of it, dump, if you wanted to take my life out of here and put your life in here, great, God bless you, do that, But what I did, and I didn't show you the whole family album, but I showed you some, right? Some of the things that we've done. I've had an incredible life, right? I mean, we've done some amazing things. We had race car teams. We had, all kinds of things. And success is just kind of measured by how much money you make. The measurement of a person's success, at least in so many economies and so many countries, it's that bank balance, right? It's how much money. That's how we kind of keep score. But then I talk a little bit about the company. I talk a little bit about the products, because if it wasn't for Dave and the products, this opportunity wouldn't exist. I take them through this, very quick. This is the only way, in my opinion, to get started. I don't want anybody, again, it goes back to finding the right person. I don't want anybody starting at $59. I don't want anybody starting at a 3-pack. I don't want anybody starting at a 6-pack. This is a commitment to build the business, and this is where we start, right? And if they can't see themselves doing that, then this business is not for you. And then I take them through this whole thing. I take them through part of the timing, the income. Again, I don't have the ability to line these people up and have them walk across the stage, because if I did, I'd be doing it. But I take them through that documentation part of it. I then start to talk about that other aspect of the business, which is building for events, right? In Oakland, California, you got a great event. If you know anybody in Oakland, get them, call them up as soon as we get off of here, and get them to that event, because John's there, Bruce is there. I mean, it will be a great event, and anybody that you send will be in the business after they go to that event. Then I talk to people about, the upcoming event, and that's it, and I'm going to try to do that in under 30 minutes. And I have. So, again, it's just getting the messaging down right, hitting all the right points. And, there's a couple of other things that I've been thinking about adding, and I'm kind of playing with those, but I'll get the finalization done here very shortly. And then if anybody wants that PowerPoint, they're certainly welcome to it. I put up a Facebook page the other day that is called Valentis Events. Valentis Events. See, one of the things that was missing, you know, and a good friend of mine, Michael Kelly, does a talk, an entire training on what is the most important part of the car. And everybody's got every guess in the world. And, you know, ultimately, the most important part of any car is the part that's missing, right? It could be a lug nut that's missing. You're flying down the road at 80 miles an hour and your wheel comes off. That lug nut was an important part of the car, right? So, you know, and what I discovered was one of the things that was missing was a place where somebody could go to identify all the meetings, right? So Valentis Events. And I'm going to keep just, you know, loading them up there. Of course, you got this Facebook page, you got, you know, Rick's Facebook page, you got the company's Facebook page, you got this, you got that. This is just going to be events, not other things, not other trainings and things like that. So let's see. Yeah, that, Poxitani Phil. Yeah, that's the name of it.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that looks like a muskrat, but I guess it is a groundhog. And I guess it bit somebody the last time. They reached in there and that thing grabbed a hold of them. So anyway, hey guys, that's about all I've got for today. I mean, I could go on and on and on, but we've been on here for right at an hour now. And so I think I'm going to call it a day, let you guys get back to the business at hand. And what is the business at hand? Let me leave you with, you know, an action step. The action step is to go find somebody. Go find one person today and get them on the phone with Mitch. Get them on the phone with me. You know, let's go tell the story. Let's interview people, right? Let's get them on the phone. Let's get them some information. I mean, Mitch is out in Arizona, and the first thing I did this morning is I went through my phone, right? I went through my phone. I pulled up all the 602, 520, and 480 area code phone numbers of everybody in my phone, and I texted him a message. I texted him a message and I said, hey, you know, I got the greatest guy in the world out there right in your neighborhood. And since you're not part of what we're doing, you guys need to hook up and meet. And lo and behold, we've got some people that have started nibbling on the hook, right? And they're just swimming around the hook. And now Mitch is going to go in and see if we can set the hook, and then we'll pull them into the boat. And we'll see if we, you know, we'll see how that works. And, you know, some days you go out fishing, you don't catch anything, but you got to put your line in the water, right? You got to put your line in the water. You got to have multiple poles. I don't know if anybody does any offshore fishing, but we use multiple poles. We don't use one pole. You know, if you're going to go out in an expensive boat, you better have lots of hooks in the water looking for that fish. And so, hey guys, it's been a lot of fun hanging out with you today. Thanks, Mitch, for giving me the opportunity to fill in for you, and always happy to do that. So with that, guys, we're going to end this puppy, and you guys have a great day. I'll be around all day if anybody needs me. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Chuck. Awesome
You
job.
bet.